Spotify has made some big announcements that shows it is pushing into the video podcast space. They've completely redesigned their apps, they're renaming the Anchor brand, and a ton more. At the Spotify Stream On event in Los Angeles, head of podcast studios Julia McNamara announced many of these changes. Number one, they're redesigning parts of the Spotify app to look like TikTok and Reels, vertical scrolling video. Once the redesign is publicly available, when users tap music or podcasts and shows, they'll be shown a vertical scrolling list of different video clips. In this vertically scrolling list of video content, you'll find songs and music videos, clips from audiobooks, and video podcast clips. As users scroll this list, they'll be able to click over and then listen or watch those audiobook songs or podcasts directly in the Spotify app. Again, this is just more confirmation that if you want to grow your podcast or you're going to be launching a podcast, adding video is crucial for discoverability and growth. When you add video to your podcast, not only can you pull video clips and share those to Reels, TikTok, and now Spotify video, you should also post the full-length 16:9 video to YouTube for discoverability and monetization. If you want to learn about all the benefits of video podcasting, check out this video above or the link in the description. And if you need help with your video podcast, start recording with Riverside. Riverside makes it easy to record remote podcasts, adding high-quality video, and you can even export those vertical video clips all in Riverside. You never even have to export to a third-party editor. To learn more about that, you can click the link above or in the show notes. Spotify is also going to rebrand Anchor. Spotify purchased Anchor back in 2019. It was a podcast hosting and creation service, and now it's going to be rebranded as Spotify for Podcasters. If you update the app on your mobile device, you'll already see that it's been rebranded. In addition to the new name, video podcasters will be able to add their video component to the shows without hosting on Anchor or Spotify for Podcasters. This is big news. Previously, you had to host your podcast on Anchor in order to have your video available in the Spotify app. Soon that won't be the case. You can host your podcast wherever you like, on Transistor, Buzzsprout. Then if you want to add the full video component so it's available and discoverable in the Spotify app, you'll be able to do that in their dashboard without hosting it directly on Spotify. Also, to increase discoverability for podcasters, Spotify is going to add autoplay for podcasts. So as soon as a listener finishes one podcast episode, another podcast is going to start immediately playing. That's why it's important to think about the very beginning of your podcast episodes. Are you playing something engaging or ear-catching to your listeners so that when someone listens to just the first 10 seconds, they're already pulled in and want to keep listening? This is another reason why you should avoid small talk or just banter back and forth at the very top of your show. To learn more about some podcasting bad habits that many of us have, check out this video above or the link in the description. Finally, Spotify announced that they are partnering with Patreon. If you have a podcast or show with exclusive content or early access that listeners and viewers can only get when they support your show on Patreon, your audience will actually be able to access that content directly in Spotify without having to import RSS feeds or go to patreon.com. This is taking on the Apple Podcast subscriptions model that launched 2 years ago, where you can subscribe to exclusive content directly in the Apple Podcast app from your favorite creators like Wondery Plus, and then you can listen to it right there in the app without having to mess with private RSS feeds. Well, now you'll be able to do that with Spotify and Patreon as well. The integration and what it will look like remains to be seen, but when it launches, it will offer creators a great way to monetize their content and make it easy for their audience to pay for it. Those are some of Spotify's big announcements, especially geared towards podcast creators. If you need help building a video podcast setup so you could take advantage of some of these announcements, check out this video above. And when you're ready to launch that show, make sure you record with Riverside so you get the highest quality video and audio with remote guests, and you can even record from your mobile device. You can learn more about that in the video in the description as well. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next video.